week 145 on hashtag Verse TV. And this one is coming from Life Learned Feelings. And it says, I don't care how old you are, you need to tell someone your whereabouts because there is too much going on in this world. So, as far as this topic is concerned, first, who wants to go first? I always am willing to acquiesce. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay, go ahead. Go.
Um, so for me, um, in my younger days, probably a few years back, I was very rebellious towards letting anyone know where I was at because of my relationship and stuff with my family. So I would just leave and go, and I wouldn't tell nobody where I was at. I would just take vacations and stuff. But as I got older, in the past couple years, I did find it important to at least tell someone your whereabouts, where you are, where you're going at, because it's always important because you do have loved ones and people who care about you and like want to make sure that you're okay in your life. And I was in a place of um, a moment of I don't care at one point in life, that I don't care who say they care about me and things like that because I felt like no one actually cared. But now coming a couple years ahead, I see that the care and love that people say that they have, they actually do have for me, and that was just my mindset, um, blocking them out and saying, I don't want to tell nobody where I'm at. But I think that it is very important for you to tell someone somewhere where you are, what you're doing, because it's very important. Because if something happens, you would have not just yourself to worry about, but a whole lot of other people who would be wondering where you are, what you're doing, are you okay, hurting and feeling like you're gone. So I think that's where I'm at with that.
Lovely answer. And I would like to go next because something that you said really connected with me, and I might have taken it somewhere other than exactly what you were saying. But as far as not telling people where you are, and you said because of your relationship with your family, and I think about myself now. I've my relationship with my family. I have a good relationship with my family, and I'm happy about that. And my family is actually has has been very accepting of my sexuality, largely. Nevertheless, I don't, I kind of know where it comes from, but I don't need to take us on that long road. But I kind of have a really conservative part of myself that didn't want to be homosexual. And I fought myself with it, and I fought myself in shame. And what I thought about as it relates to this topic is what I was going to initially talk about exclusively was just that back in my thought days or my sexual exploration days, I ugh, I had some crazy, not crazy, but I did some wild things seeing people, and I would never tell anybody where I was going because I was like, one, I'm grown, but two, I think there was also an aspect of shame that was in it, subconscious shame that was in it. So I wouldn't tell anybody. I would just go and do it. And particularly while I was in school, in DC, brand new city, Howard University, Bison, and I I would meet dudes and let them drive me anywhere, anywhere. And I would get in these dudes' cars, and I didn't even know that city. I wasn't from DC, so I didn't know anything about it, and just let the dudes drive me wherever. And fortunately, like the old Trinity 5-7 song, it's by God's grace, that I'm here to tell the story. I particularly connect with this though because that was in the early 2000s. So the early 2000s, because I'm an early 80s baby, I'm a little bit older, and in the early 2000s when I was in school, it it was somewhat new, and people didn't know how much necessarily that they could get online and take advantage of people and harm people. And now, through the magic of news, telling everybody, hey, if you want to sneak and kill somebody or sneak and steal from somebody or sneak and whatever, this is a way to do it. Just get on this app and do dot dot dot. And here's the blueprint for you. And maybe we'll catch you after you do what you've done. And that's not cool. And I don't want to, I feel it's kind of unfair for me to say, kids, now you need to always, I don't know the answer, because it's like, I feel that my thought days, my sexual exploration days were beneficial because it allowed me to have the experience, be like, I've done that. I don't need to do it anymore, you know? Even though I was just always looking for love in all the wrong bedrooms. And I don't want to say to somebody else, this next generation, that you can't do that. You kind of can't. You can't tell tell somebody where you are. Tell somebody where you're going, even if you have to. Because I think about people like me, and I didn't really have a host of friends and stuff like that. But here's a benefit. Since you have the internet now, like broken out with the social media world and stuff like that, tell one of your social media friends. Tell them, if you don't hear from me, I'm going to meet so and so who might be my next boyfriend, or he might just be the next guy to bust on my back. Bust semen on my back. But tell somebody, tell your internet friend that I'm going to see him. And if you don't hear from, I will get, and that's the answer. Hallelujah. If you don't hear from me by 12, and it doesn't matter where your social media friend is, it doesn't matter. But tell them, I will message you at 12. I will message you at 2 a.m. Let you know I made it home safely. If you don't hear from me, notify XYZ that something is wrong. So you don't have to tell XYZ yourself, but they'll know how to pass it on to them. That's the answer. That's the answer. Golly. I've been wondering about that for years. Anyway, I think that's my whole first date public place. First date public place. First date public place. Even if you go to freaking Panera Bread on the first date. First date public place. Boom. ChrisSEE Marie.
Yeah, I totally agree with that statement. Definitely let somebody know. And because we're in the information age, you can check in online. You can check in somewhere to let the world know that you're right here at this time without giving out your business. You know, seriously. I do have a huge family. I have a lot of cousins that I'm very close with, and that if I meet someone new for a date or go out on a date with somebody, I tell a handful of people, listen, you don't see me after today. This is where I was at, what time, and who with, you know. But because it's a little different for women. It's a little bit different, which um, unfortunately it is. I don't know. It shouldn't be, but it is. We're perceived to be more vulnerable. But yeah, definitely tell somebody because it's a safety issue, you know. And you're right, Morgan. Those people, they cared about you. That's why they said, hey, you always got to let somebody know what's going on. You know, you don't have to give complete details, but at least let us know where you're going and who you're going to be with, and you know what what's the you don't have to go into detail about the plan, but at least say, hey, look, I'm expected to, I don't know if I'm going to stay the night or if I'm going to go home, or whatever the deal is. You don't have to tell all of that, but at least tell who you're with and where you're at. It's a safety thing. So because I'm a very private person, I don't like people in my business. But if just like I said, if you're meeting someone new, and especially today, there's sex trafficking, there's rape still exists across the board. Doesn't matter what your sexual orientation. You have to be safe. You have to be safe. People are on the prowl. People have their own agendas. They may not be really interested in getting to know you or whatever. They may not have the same type of interests or intentions that you do. So definitely be safe and tell somebody.
Our first card is: do you prefer to be the dominant one or the submissive one in the bedroom? And who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Okay.
Both.
Okay.
Both. I like a healthy balance. I like to be told what to do, but I also like to be given that permission, if you will.
To tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Morgan.
Okay, so for me, I would say that at heart I'm dominant, but I am also submissive because I want to make sure that the person that I'm with, engaging with, that they are feeling everything that they want to feel, need to feel, But I also have that moment of dominance where it's those like, I want to take this over for real. So um, that's basically me, you know. I have been with someone who's shorter than me. I'm 5'10". I'm 5'10" and a half, I am not super tall, but I'm 5'10" and a half. I do like a taller person, But also I have dated like my most recent relationship, I dated someone who's 5'3", In that situation, in that moment, I felt like I had to be dominant because like I was the taller one. I felt like that was me, like I was superior. But it wasn't on a macho thing or anything like that, but it just was like, I don't think that you can fulfill because of your height what I need fulfilled. So I